So learning targets this unit, there are 4. Just going to give you a quick rundown of 1, 2, 3, and then you can look for video 4 a little bit later. Learning target 1, we pretty much have done together in class multiple days, where we're looking at the 4 spheres, atmo, geo, bio, hydro, thinking about what category each natural item goes into using our keywords. So you're plugging in the prefix here, atmo, geo, bio, hydro, that matches the keyword, and then giving at least 3 examples. And we have some of that information in our carbon cycle notes. So you can be looking at your notes activity right underneath your picture. We really broke it down and had some examples other than the activity we did in class. So that would be a good resource there. As far as learning target 2 and 3 goes, it's really putting the last couple days in your own words. So learning target 2 here, we've got some keywords. These are all our process terms of how carbon moves around the carbon cycle. We want to explain in learning target 2 how carbon moves from sphere to sphere, or which sphere to which sphere rather, and then how that's happening. So the red, you can see here, has all the sphere terms. We're using, just like learning target 1, those prefixes to plug in and say, hey, when combustion happens, carbon's moving from this sphere to this sphere. And then the when gives you an opportunity to give the definition. And as always, we got our keywords here, so you should be using at least one of these keywords in each process term definition. Again, your notes are going to be super helpful for this. So you can use your picture or your definitions, whatever kind of fits you the best. But if we look at combustion here, we've talked a lot about this one. We know combustion, again looking at our picture, is when we're burning fossil fuels, right? Putting carbon into the atmosphere out of these fossil fuels. So when we think about our 2 spheres, we really want to highlight where the carbon begins, that's the start of our arrow, and where the carbon ends, that's the end of our arrow. So the carbon begins here in our power plant in the fossil fuels. So when we think about the sphere for fossil fuels, hopefully your mind is thinking about geosphere for fossil fuels, and looking at where the arrow ends up in these CO2 molecules in the air, we know that is in fact our atmosphere. So again, we're just using the arrow and saying what sphere to what sphere, really similar to our game that we moved around the room. These are my locations and they fall under these spheres. Again, the when is the definition. So don't really get the definition by looking at the picture. That's where we have to kind of come down to the notes. So combustion, in our notes, this was the burning of fossil fuels. So I want to put that into my own words using one of the keywords here. And I'm doing that for energy use. So looking at my options, probably that last one, fossil fuels, is the best fit. So carbon begins in the geosphere, moves to the atmosphere in combustion when what is happening? We can say fossil fuels are burned for energy, like, and then we can give example, electricity, driving car. We had a long list of those things. We even listed some right here. Okay, so again, fill in your spheres. You got a definition right here. So keep going. Learning target 3 then is just illustrating that. So for example, this combustion one, we want to show burning of fossil fuels. So looking at our picture, The only burning of fossil fuels is, again, going to be like that example, the car. So we want to put our own arrow in for combustion and label it up. Okay? So you can go back and forth like we did in the notes, definition, diagram, definition, diagram. I've seen some people crush the diagram because they like the visual, then go back to the terms. It's really up to you, but this is our focus as we're getting ready for our carbon cycle quiz.